Welcome to the Informal Game. I'm Griff. I got Chris with me. He's behind the camera as always. And we're going to talk a little bit more about making a homemade dungeon. It's really easy, so stay tuned. Alright, this is kind of a culmination of everything I've been talking about in all the videos. If you're a DM, you probably have some rules already that you've been looking through. If you don't have any rules and you're a new DM, I'm always going to tell you this is a great book on how to be a DM, lots of information, and the videos too. And then, of course, there's always the free PDF of which I talk about. There's another video where I talk about the Bluebook, and there's a free copy out there. Everything you need to run 3 levels of characters into a dungeon, and all the monsters and all the treasures and everything. In fact, I'll kind of be working with this book today. So I talked about how to make a dungeon. I talked about making maps. I talked about sort of the philosophical ideas behind dungeons, that they should sort of, at least from my perspective, be representative of what it would be like to descend into the realm of the unliving or some other place. And then I talked a little bit about kind of the, how to judge how good an encounter should be, how tough it should be, how easy it should be. And then I also talked a little bit about traps, stuff like that. So it's one thing to talk about doing this stuff, and it's another thing to actually do it, because that's a whole different ballgame, isn't it? So I'm going to take some of my own medicine today, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a dungeon. But the trick to this is that if you pause the video and go get a piece of paper and a pencil, you can make a dungeon and just kind of follow along in your own way and create your own dungeon as I make my dungeon. So I got a blank piece of paper here. Let's just, let's see, maybe this will be the dungeon with the, we'll work with black for the walls. That way I have other colors if I need other colors for things. Dungeon entrances. What if we just have a big cave for the entrance? And, if you look at like things in antiquity, people lived in caves and people carved other tunnels out of caves. So it's not unreasonable for us to start with a big cave and have things coming off the big cave. So here's my piece of paper. Let's just do a big cave opening. And we'll just do this. Let's pretend that the distance between 2 lines here is about 10 feet. But I'm not going to worry about being too detailed about it. It gets a little tight here. You got a little passage going off this way. Maybe we go down further. And let's put a secret door right here. There's another passage, but it's hidden. But the main passage, this one doesn't, if they examine it, won't be as well traveled maybe. Or maybe it will. I don't know. You're making your own dungeon as we're talking. So maybe this is bigger. Maybe I need to have that bigger. Or maybe I have 2 caves because I want something big in another place here. So I'm just going to have this big cave that's here. Now, this cave is going to be kind of interesting because it should foreshadow what is in this big place here. And so maybe you tell your players that there are like claw marks on the walls and scratches on the floor and big draggy marks in the dirt and stones that have fallen on the floor in this natural cave. And that should tell them something. If they don't pick up on the clues yet, maybe also mention that it seems like there's like carbon buildup, like from some sort of smoke or fire or something. So you have this large cave. We're just going to stick a dragon over here. We got our little dragon. Doot, 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 doot. Dragons. So we just do a little dragon there. Doop, boop. Got to get some wings in. Boop. Boop. So we got a dragon over here. But we don't want our players to see the dragon yet. So maybe the dragon has shoved a bunch of rocks and things up. And so you have like this kind of pile of rocks, but it's kind of built a nest. So it's like there's a lip. You can't actually see the dragon over there because there's sort of a hill here. But the players might notice like gold coins have fallen out of the nest and are lining the outside. There's like a sprinkling of copper and silver and gold coins there. So we're just making a dungeon. It's so easy to do, right? I'm having fun. This is how I do it. I just lie on my couch with paper and I just draw stuff and make stuff up on the spur of the moment. So the dragon encounter is kind of fun because they'll come in, they'll see the clues. If they come in this way, they'll know to maybe go back out and go in the other way, right? We can maybe put another secret door over here. So this secret door will lead into some space. So the main thing about the dragon encounter is that you don't want the players to fight the dragon. The dragon is just there to sort of establish the level of threat in this place. So as they come in, maybe as they get dropped closer, they hear a snoring sound. The dragon is sleeping. Well, that's not going to be a wimpy dragon. This is going to be an ancient dragon. And ancient dragons like to just lay around and sleep. So a bunch of low-level characters really shouldn't be taking this on, right? You can give them all these clues. You've got claw marks everywhere. You've got burn marks everywhere. Gold coins. Pile of debris. Snoring sounds. I don't know what else you've got to do. If one of your players decides to go clambering up the side of this pile of rocks that the dragon has shoved together, the only thing you can do is the dragon wakes up and roasts them. But we go further along. We got another secret door here. This passage leads off this way. Maybe we decide to have a river here. So we just make a river that goes snaking through here, right? And it doesn't have to be a deep river. It's something they can wade through. Maybe it's only like, I don't know, knee deep or hip deep. Simple things like this in a dungeon are easy to do because you put that in there and the players are going to be busy trying to figure out what to do. So that's another interesting encounter. Maybe we add in... See, I'm just making this up on the fly, and you should be able to do this with a piece of paper yourself. Maybe this area is a little bit more like laid in with brick, and so you have like a passage that looks intentional as opposed to like a natural cave type thing. And it goes off, and we have another room over here. Boop. Our cave widens out into an area there. I love putting secret doors. Like I've got this secret door here. Maybe we'll put like a little treasure chest in there. Maybe we'll put in some little skeletons. Boop, 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 boop. I got swords. Ooh, skeletons. Okay, we got some undead in there. We got a treasure chest. Lots of stuff to work with. We got a dragon there. The whole idea of making these games is that they're supposed to be fun, they're supposed to be easy. I think that I think things have become a little bit too complex over the years, and you just gotta like, you know, it's easy. Your brain you have a really busy brain. Sometimes your brain is really busy brain, and you gotta just slow down and stick to the basics. And so you can make a dungeon like this really easily. Like I'm literally doing it right now, and it'll take me like, I don't know, 10 minutes to do it, right? And you make areas that come off. Maybe there's somebody over here. Maybe we'll put a spider in here. Boop, boop, doop, 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 doop. You notice I'm just sketching little things on the map. If I was doing this in pencil, I might do this because I know that when I see my little drawings that I know kind of what I had planned for that room. And so when I go back and I write a list of what the creatures are and write down their hit points and their armor class and stuff like that, I can just look at what I created before, and I'll know what I have there. This is like, you know, another spot where you got to cross over the river. Maybe somebody's made a little bridge there. And of course, you know, you could have some sort of creature that comes out of there. Always interesting to have the players have to fight a monster before they can traverse something. I don't know. I just I have so much fun making dungeons. I do this a lot. Like I'll be like hanging out, listening to music, and I'll just start drawing a dungeon. It's like a hobby within a hobby. You don't even have to use it. You can just do practice dungeons. Like, this is a practice dungeon. There's another room. We'll do a little doorway. Maybe the door swings in. Maybe this door swings out. You can take a room that you created and just kind of extend off of it. And maybe we'll do some, like a spiral stairwell that goes doot, 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 all the way down, right? And then we just do another passage that comes off this way. And this one, because it's gone down, it goes under the river and the passage and comes out over here somewhere. And we got another room, right? You just get really creative. Don't limit yourself. There's no pre-planning here. I'm just making stuff up. I'm just going along and making stuff up. One thing that's fun to do in dungeons is you can add, instead of doors, you can just put curtains across a hallway. That'll perplex the players. Put curtains there. And long passages that just kind of meander a great distance. This one, since it's lower, I'll just kind of do that. Boop. Comes out over here somewhere. We can do another round stairwell here that goes down. And obviously, since I'm doing this, I'm speed dungeon building, right? It just doesn't take any effort at all. I can just add some stairs going down and connect that to this hallway. And my hallway goes maybe a 4-way intersection there. And we'll add another room down here. And maybe a secret door leading to a passage and another room. And this hallway will go down here. We had kind of a rocky passage there. I'll just kind of wiggle this guy around. Maybe there's a room there. And it kind of winds down this way. And it, instead of having stairs, it just kind of slopes down. So I'll just do the sloping, the international symbol for the stairway, sloping down. Right? Boop, boop. Kind of an arrow-like thing. Tells me that this slopes down and it comes somewhere here. I can add another room, big hallway, maybe with some pillars. Maybe this is an old temple or something. We just add that in and we go further. I don't know, temple, pillar room, who knows? We can add another little room here. Maybe this is the temple. It's got I like putting a little, kind of like a sacristy on the end of my temples. I won't go into too much detail, but you see what I'm doing here. I'm just using everything that I talked about in the previous videos, and I'm just, boom, making a dungeon on the fly. We can put a room here at the end, some sort of room. Maybe it's covered in murals, and who knows, maybe the murals in the light, the murals seem to dance, and maybe like a shadow. I don't know if they, like in D&D, they have that monster shadows. Maybe there's a shadow hidden in the murals and it'll jump out and attack one of the players. And then you can just have this sort of downsloping cavey place come in, and we got another secret door there. I don't know. It's that easy. So when I see people talking about like, oh, we don't have enough dungeon masters, and oh, all of this stuff is so hard, and then I look at what I'm doing here, you know, I kind of wonder what's going on. You know, we can just add another passage going this way and maybe angle it off this way. Boop, boop, boop. Up here, maybe put some kobolds in that room, and some kobolds in that room, and some kobolds down here. And every time the players run into the kobolds, if the kobolds don't feel like they're winning the battle, they retreat. And then the next room, there's more kobolds. So if there were 5 here and they kill 2, 3 come down here and join the other 6. And now we've got, 9 kobolds. And if things look tough, they go scooting off to their favorite hangout over here. Whatever, whatever you can imagine, the monsters aren't just waiting around for the players to kill them. The monsters have agendas too, and they have ways of how they deal with situations. So when the players come in, maybe they've got like a standard operating procedure where they, the proverbial lifting the drawbridge sort of thing, where this is what we're going to do to keep the adventurers from wiping us out. we can go up. Maybe we got a passage that widens out, and there's like, maybe the kobolds. This is the kobold fun zone. What if the kobold fun zone is a passage like this that widens out, and they're at the end, and we have sort of a snaking sort of path through the room, like so. And they're all down here with bows or slings or something like that. And the players have to go up this like skinny little path, and around it is like some sort of lava pit type thing that the players, if they fall into, they'll die. And then maybe there's the last kobold hangout. I hate to have dead ends, and so if I was the kobolds, I would have a little secret passage. See, this is thinking like a monster. I would have a secret door here, and a secret door here that leads to the outside world, and maybe even a trap door that can be triggered. I like to put traps, like a pit trap here. Let's just have a simple 10-foot drop, a couple points damage, keeps the players on their toes. But as you see, I'm just working really fast. But I've got, how many rooms did I put in here? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 maybe. 18 rooms. This little dungeon, if you just add, you keep adding things, I'm not going to draw more on here. I've got an 18-room dungeon drawn up, right? And I got this interesting encounter where the players need to decide what to do to maybe not get roasted by the dragon. Maybe sometimes when they come to the dungeon, they'll see the dragon flying in the air, and they'll have to sneak up through the woods and make a dash across a field to get into the dungeon. Or other times they'll just hear it roaring in its nest there. And then you've got all these little interesting encounters. Like I always say, obstacles. Obstacles are really important. This room, I don't know, maybe it's not kobolds, maybe it is. I love putting extra secret hidden rooms off of rooms. I'll just throw that in like that. Maybe it's a little bit more like that. I like to have a lot of hidden rooms because I don't expect my players to actually find all the secret doors. That's another thing, is the old rules, unless you were looking for a secret door or you were an elf, the chances of finding secret doors was pretty hard. So a dungeon generally had a lot of places that players would just never see. And unless they had, some sort of information that there's like a hidden chamber that has the sacred gem, the orange gem or something, they're just not going to know about it. Anyway, if you grabbed a piece of paper and tried to follow along, you might have your own dungeon by now. But you see what I'm doing here, and it's so easy. Basic monsters, It's like skeletons, kobolds. What else can you put in there? We got spiders. We got water. We got fire. Maybe we decide to make a certain area, like we'll just extend off of here. And this will just come off this way. And just to be sort of mean to the players, this area here will be full of fog. We'll just make a little, some way to mark on there. We'll just write fog here. We got fog on this part of the dungeon. Fog is always, my players just hate fog because they're like, oh great, now we're not going to see the thing till it's right on us. A gelatinous cube in the fog is the most terrifying monster you can ever encounter because it's just going to come right up to you and start attacking. I don't know, I thought I would do this little demo because I've been talking about creating dungeons for the past few shows. It's so easy, and I really just encourage people to do something like this. And the big question is like, that's kind of a no-brainer. You don't have to, you can just measure it. Like you could take another piece of paper. Watch this. If this is 10 feet for each line, and my players are traveling along, I can just take this piece of paper and I can say, oh, that's 10 feet, that's 20 feet, that's 30 feet, that's 40 feet. It goes about 50 feet, and then it opens up, and you've got this large room. The straight, the rooms themselves, like this one is about, looks like 35 feet that way. This one Probably could just average it out to 30 feet. The passageway, I drew it kind of tight, but we could just say it's 10 feet wide. Simple tools like that. Boom, you got a dungeon. Is that any different from what we used to play that was published in the Blue Book here when I was a kid? You know, is it any different, any worse, any better? It's still a dungeon, right? So I hope you can get inspired by that. I know a lot of you are experienced RPG players, and so this is kind of like old hat for you. But I really want to show new gamers that this stuff's easy and it should be fun. And even if you never use something like the dungeon I just made, this is a great practice dungeon, and it'll help you start thinking about how to make an even better dungeon. So keep watching the show. As always, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Chris and I are going to keep working on more shows like this, and make sure to tell a friend. We'll see you next time.